Today, we're diving into the third and final chapter of the Taken trilogy, Taken 3. If you haven't watched the first two films yet, they're already detailedly explained on this channel with links in the description. Now let's break it down. At the beginning of the story, we see a man named Maxim. Maxim arrives at a man's house with a few of his men. Maxim captures the man and then brings him to his office, where Maxim's boss, Oleg Malenkov, is already waiting. Malenkov says to the man who was brought there by force, "Sorry to disturb you at this time, but your boss owes me a lot of money, and I'm here to collect it." The man replies, "I'm just an accountant. I don't know anything." Malenkov responds, "You don't have to know anything. Just open the safe. The combination is something you know." Following Malenkov's order, the man opens the safe, but there is no money inside. Seeing this, Malenkov gets angry. He then calls the man's boss and says that he has made a mistake, and if the money is not returned within the next 2 days, the consequences will be severe. After saying this, Malenkov shoots the man and locks his body inside the same safe, so that his boss understands just how dangerous Malenkov really is. In the next scene, we see Brian Mills. Brian arrives with a present for his daughter's birthday. On the other hand, we see Kim, whose worries are increasing because she has just found out that she is pregnant. After learning this, Kim doesn't know what to do because she is still a college student and not ready to have a child. Just then, Brian arrives at Kim's house. Brian is very happy and wants to celebrate his daughter's birthday. Kim invites Brian inside. While Brian and Kim are talking, Kim's boyfriend Jamie shows up. Jamie says, "I hope I'm not disturbing you." Brian replies, "Not at all." Then they all start joking around and laughing together. After a while, Brian takes his leave. He gets into his car and calls his ex-wife, Lenore. Lenore asks Brian about Kim and says, "So how did it go?" Brian replies, "It was great." Brian then says that he's planning to cook something special for dinner that night, and if Lenore wants, she can join him. Lenore happily accepts Brian's offer. Meanwhile, Kim remains deeply troubled by the news of her pregnancy. Later that night, Lenore comes over to Brian's house. Brian is very happy to see her. During their conversation, Lenore tells Brian that her relationship with her husband, Stuart, is not going well. She says she has tried everything, therapy, counseling, but nothing is working. Lenore also says that if things continue like this, she might end up separating from Stuart. Brian advises her not to make any decisions in a hurry. After that, the two of them spend a good time together as friends. Then Lenore says goodbye to Brian and leaves. The next day, Brian is hanging out with his friends when he gets a call from Kim. Kim asks to meet him. Brian meets Kim, and she says, "I need some advice." In reality, Kim is very confused about her pregnancy, but she can't bring herself to tell Brian about it. Changing the subject, Kim says she's thinking about getting a puppy, which is why she called Brian for advice. Brian tells her that on one hand she has college, and getting a puppy means it's a lot of responsibility. Brian carefully explains that she'll have to take care of the puppy, feed it on time, give it attention, and take it out for walks. Brian says that if she's ready to handle all these responsibilities, then she can have a puppy. Kim takes Brian's words seriously and understands them deeply. That same night, Stuart suddenly comes to Brian's house to meet him. Seeing Stuart unexpectedly, Brian asks, "Is everything okay?" Stuart says yes, everything is fine. He just wants to talk to Brian. Brian invites Stuart inside. Stuart says that his relationship with Lenore isn't going well, and he feels that somewhere along the line, Brian might also be responsible for it. Brian says there's nothing going on between him and Lenore, they just share a daughter. Stuart says he knows Brian is a good man, Lenore's ex-husband, and also a good friend, and that the two of them talk and stay in touch. Stuart says he simply wants Brian to stop seeing Lenore until they sort things out. Brian asks if Lenore knows that Stuart has come to see him. Stuart says it doesn't matter and asks Brian if he can stop meeting Lenore. Brian agrees. Stuart thanks Brian and leaves. After that, just as Brian promised Stuart, he stops seeing Lenore. He doesn't call her, and he completely cuts off all contact with her. One day, Brian receives a message from Lenore that says, "Need to see you. Urgent. Bagels at your place." She also adds, "Please." Before going to meet her, Brian goes out to buy bagels. At the same time, we see Maxim keeping an eye on Brian. Brian arrives at his apartment and starts calling out to Lenore. Suddenly, he notices a knife lying on the floor. He then goes into a room where he sees Lenore lying on the bed. Someone has killed her by slitting her throat. Brian can't believe Lenore is dead. Just then, 2 police officers arrive and tell Brian to surrender. Brian tries to explain himself, but the officers don't listen and order him to get down on the floor. Brian complies, drops to his knees, and raises his hands. As the officers begin to put handcuffs on him, Brian attacks them. He knocks both officers unconscious and starts running. A few more police officers chase Brian, but he manages to outsmart them and escape. Brian is completely broken from the inside. Lenore's death is devastating for him. For a moment, he doesn't know what to do, because in the eyes of the police, Brian is now the killer. After some time, Brian calls Kim. In deep grief, he tells Kim that her mother has died. Kim can't believe what Brian is saying. Brian tells her that someone murdered Lenore in his apartment, and it looks like he did it. Brian says he doesn't know who did this or why, but he will find out. Brian tells Kim, "Try to be strong. I will find a way to contact you." Hearing about her mother's death, Kim breaks down. A quick reminder, YouTube data shows that most viewers watching the channel aren't subscribed. Subscribing is appreciated. In the next scene, we see Frank Dotzler. Dotzler is a senior LAPD detective leading the investigation into Lenore's murder. His junior officer tells him that their prime suspect is Brian Mills, the murdered woman's ex-husband. He also explains that the police arrived based on a report from a neighboring woman, and Brian was present at the scene at the time, after which he managed to slip away and escape. Dotzler finds both Lenore's and Brian's phones there. Dotzler instructs his junior officer that he wants all the call records, data, and information from both Lenore's and Brian's phones. The news of Lenore's death starts playing on TV, which Brian's friend Sam sees. Just then, Sam receives a call from Brian. Sam says, "You're on the news." Brian replies, "I didn't do this." Sam says, "Obviously you didn't do it." Brian tells Sam that he's going down the rabbit hole, meaning he's going completely off the grid, and says, "I will be in touch." Sam replies, "Just be careful." After that, Brian goes to one of his old hideouts. This hideout has everything Brian needs. On the other side, Dotzler comes to meet Stewart for questioning. Dotzler asks Stewart if he knows why his wife had gone to meet Brian. Stewart says, "I don't know." Stewart explains that although Brian and Lenore's relationship was mostly centered around their daughter, Brian wanted more than just friendship. Just then, Kim arrives and asks Stewart why the police are searching her mom's room. Dotzler says he's sorry for the trouble, but they're just looking around to see if they can find something that might help them. Kim says she understands that the police suspect her father, Brian, but she knows her father would never do something like this. Meanwhile, a police officer plants a microphone on Kim's clothes, but before leaving, he hands it to Kim. After that, Lenore's body is brought to the morgue. Stewart can't hold back his tears and breaks down crying. Dotzler tries to comfort him. There, Stewart tells Dotzler that a few years ago, Brian saved his family in Paris and Istanbul, and that Brian has many enemies. After this, Dotzler walks Stewart to his car. Meanwhile, Brian secretly sneaks into the morgue. Brian approaches Lenore's body. Seeing her like that, he is devastated. Brian says a final goodbye to her. In the next scene, we see Dotzler briefing his team about Brian. Dotzler explains that Brian is a ghost. At 21, he was in the army. At 23, he joined special forces, and then he disappears. No service records, no discharge papers, nothing. Dotzler says that until they have another suspect, Brian is their man. And the easiest way to catch Brian is through Kim. Kim is his daughter, whom Brian loves more than his own life. So they need to keep a close eye on Kim, where she goes, who she calls, who she talks to. This is going to be their best shot at finding him. On the other hand, Brian quietly makes his way to Lenore's car and downloads the GPS data from it. After returning to his hideout, Brian uses the GPS data from Lenore's car to track where she went that day. From the data, Brian learns that Lenore's last location was a gas station. After that, Brian heads to the same gas station to look for any possible clues. After reaching there, Brian shows the cashier his fake police ID and asks about Lenore, but the cashier says she hasn't seen her. Then Brian notices the security cameras. Using his fake ID again, Brian asks an employee to take him to the security room so he can check the surveillance footage. Just then, a few LAPD officers arrive and start questioning the cashier about Lenore. The cashier tells them that their guy had just been there asking about Lenore. The officers immediately show Brian's photo to the cashier and ask if he was the same man who came earlier. The cashier says yes and tells them that he went into the security room. Meanwhile, while checking the security footage, Brian sees that Lenore came there around 10 p.m. She parked her car, And at that moment, a few men stepped out of a black van and forcibly grabbed Lenore, dragging her into the van. Just then, the officers enter and tell Brian to freeze. But Brian keeps watching the footage, trying to find any clue. The officers give him a final warning, and at that moment, Brian notices that one of the men in the black van has a tattoo on his hand. After that, Brian raises his hands, and the officers arrest him and take him away in a police car. When Dotzler finds out that Brian has been caught, he calls the officers who arrested him and tells them that this is a trap. There's no way Brian would get caught this easily. This has to be a setup. But the officers brush off Dotzler's warning and say that Brian is not the kind of pro Dotzler made him out to be. Meanwhile, Brian cleverly uses a pin to unlock his handcuffs. At the right moment, Brian attacks the officers inside the police car and throws them out of the vehicle. Brian takes the driver's seat and manages to evade all the police officers, escaping from there. Brian's purpose behind all this is to access and download police data so he can get all the information related to Lenore's case. Brian successfully downloads all the data from the LAPD server. After some time, Brian returns to his hideout. Sam is already there, waiting for him. Brian tells Sam everything, how Lenore had messaged him to come over, and how by the time Brian arrived, Lenore had already been murdered. After that, Brian hands Sam the data downloaded from the LAPD server along with the GPS data from Lenore's car. Brian says to Sam, "I need an analysis of this. Maybe we'll find something." Sam asks, "Anything else?" Brian replies that he wants to go to the funeral. At Lenore's funeral, all her family members and acquaintances gather. Dotzler and his team also keep watch from a distance, hoping to catch Brian. Dotzler monitors every movement because he believes Brian will show up. Sam also arrives at the funeral and first hugs Kim to comfort her. After that, Sam tells Kim that Brian will stay in touch with her and that she has to stick to her schedule, her very predictable schedule. Then Sam gestures toward the camera hidden on his clothes, through which Brian is watching Kim. Kim deeply misses her father. When Brian doesn't appear, one of Dotzler's officers asks him, "Do you want me to put a tail on Sam and Kim?" Dotzler says there's no point. These people are highly professional. They could lose a tail easily. Dotzler becomes increasingly restless. He can't figure out how to catch Brian. The next day, Kim is getting ready to go to college when she looks out the window and sees a few police officers sitting in their cars outside. She then comes out of her room and notices that Stewart has hired some bodyguards. Kim asks Stewart, "Why are there cops still camped outside?" Stewart says it's probably standard procedure. Kim then asks, "Why are there bodyguards?" Stewart replies, "I think we need some protection." Kim asks, "From who? My father?" Stewart says, "I know it's hard on you, but it's hard on me too." Kim says that she doesn't hate Stewart, but if her mom had been unhappy over the past 2 years, Stewart was the reason. After that, Kim leaves for college. She notices that the police are now following her. Kim then stops at a convenience store. As usual, she follows her predictable routine and picks up a yogurt drink from the 4th row. This time, the drink has "Drink Me Now" written on it from Brian. Kim drinks it and then heads to college. The officer reports all of this to Dotzler. Dotzler asks, "Is the bug you planted on Kim's clothes still active?" The officer says yes. Dotzler replies, "Good, keep following Kim and watch her every move." Kim is in her college class and a police officer outside the building is listening in through the bug. Suddenly, Kim starts feeling unwell. She leaves the class and heads toward the bathroom. On the other side, Dotzler arrives at the same convenience store Kim had visited. There, Dotzler learns that Kim comes here every day and always buys the same drink. Something feels off to him. He immediately heads to Kim's college and asks his junior what's going on there. Dotzler's junior tells him that Kim went to class, started feeling nauseous, and is now heading to the bathroom. Dotzler says, "Call for backup. I'm coming right now." Kim enters the bathroom, where Brian is already waiting. Telling Kim to stay quiet, Brian pulls her into a toilet stall and shuts the door. Brian then searches Kim's clothes and finally finds the bug planted on her. He blocks the bug's transmission. After that, Brian gives Kim some medicine and says, "Drink this. I put something in the yogurt to make you nauseous. This will take it away." Kim drinks the medicine. Seeing her father, Kim becomes very emotional and breaks down, hugging Brian tightly. She can't hold herself back and tells Brian that she is pregnant. Hearing this, Brian freezes for a moment. Then, gently and lovingly, Brian says to Kim, "Don't you worry. Let's get through this first. Then we'll figure out what's best for..." Brian tells her that for now, she just has to act natural because this cop is really smart. Anything out of the ordinary will make him suspicious. Brian tells Kim that he loves her very much. Kim says that she loves Brian too. Meanwhile, Dotzler and the police team arrive at the college. Dotzler's junior tells him that Kim is still in the bathroom and that he is standing right outside it. Dotzler says, "Don't move, I'm coming." Kim tells Brian, "Dad, Stuart is acting really weird, like he's scared of something. He's even hired bodyguards at the house." Just then, a few girls enter the bathroom. Brian puts the bug back on Kim's clothes. At the same time, the entire police team moves toward the bathroom with Dotzler. Suddenly, Dotzler's junior rushes into the bathroom and forcefully kicks open the door of Kim's stall, where only Kim is inside. Kim angrily slams the door shut again. Dotzler arrives moments later. His junior tells him that Brian isn't there. Dotzler is convinced that Brian is somewhere nearby, so he orders his entire team to search for him. Brian also realizes that Dotzler is looking for him. Suddenly, Dotzler spots Brian and starts chasing him. Brian throws a grenade into a safe spot, causing a small explosion. This activates the fire sprinkler system, and water starts spraying everywhere. Chaos breaks out among the students, and taking advantage of the confusion, Brian manages to escape. After that, Dotzler sits down with Kim to question her. Dotzler says that if she thinks she's helping her father, she's not. Kim responds, "My mom has been murdered, and my father didn't do it, and you and your team are wasting all your time just trying to catch my father." Dotzler has no answer to that. Kim then removes the bug and places it on the table in front of Dotzler, stands up, and walks away. In the next scene, we see Stuart heading to his Malibu house with bags full of cash. Stuart is driving with his bodyguards when Brian starts following his car. After what Kim said, Brian begins to suspect that something is going on with Stuart. Suddenly, an unknown vehicle slams into Brian's car from behind. Because of the impact, Brian loses control of the steering. The other vehicle keeps pushing Brian's car and forces it off the road into a ravine. Two men get out of that vehicle and throw a grenade at Brian's car. The grenade explodes, blowing the car apart. We then see that the man who threw the grenade is none other than Maxim. Believing Brian is dead, Maxim says to his friend, "Let's go get drunk." But Brian somehow survives. Brian stops a passing car at gunpoint and forces the driver to give him a ride. After going some distance, Brian spots Maxim's car parked outside a liquor store. Brian goes inside the store. As soon as he enters, Brian takes out Maxim's men, one by one. Finally, Brian comes face to face with Maxim. A shootout begins between them, but Brian manages to grab Maxim. A brutal fight breaks out between the two. Holding him at gunpoint, Brian asks, "Who hired you?" Maxim says he'll die, but won't say a word. Then Maxim forces his own head into Brian's gun and pulls the trigger, killing himself instantly. Before Brian can get any answers, Maxim is already dead. In the next scene, we see that Stuart has reached his Malibu house. Brian arrives at Stuart's place in Maxim's car. Mistaking Brian for Maxim, Stuart's bodyguard tells him, "Boss, they're at the gate." Stuart tells the bodyguard, "Let them in and take a stroll. I need a little privacy." Stuart is waiting for Maxim when he suddenly looks up and sees Brian standing there with a gun pointed at him. Brian knocks Stuart out and takes him to an isolated place. Brian says to Stuart, "None of this is making sense, Stuart. When I was following you, how did Maxim end up behind me? Was Maxim working for you? What the hell is really going on here?" Stuart says he doesn't know anything. Brian asks, "Then what do you know?" Stuart replies, "The only thing I know is that you were fucking my wife, and now she's dead." To force the truth out of him, Brian starts torturing Stuart and says that he won't stop until Stuart tells him everything. That's when Stuart finally admits that there's a man named Oleg Malenkov and that he owes him money. Stuart says Malenkov threatened to kill his family. Brian says, "Why didn't you tell the police this? You just let them think it was me." Stuart replies that he was angry at Brian because he was meeting Lenore. Brian asks, "After Lenore was killed, why are they coming after me?" Stuart explains that he told Malenkov about Brian, who he is, and that Brian would find them and kill them. Brian says, "Oh, how convenient would that be for you? I kill them and your debt gets wiped clean." Stuart breaks down crying and says that he loved Lenore very much. Brian says, "Do you really think they'll stop after killing Lenore? They won't. Because of your debt, they'll come after Kim next." In the next scene, we see Kim sitting sadly in her mom's room. Just then, Sam arrives and at gunpoint takes the phone and car keys from the police officer stationed outside Kim's house. More of Sam's friends show up and take the phones and car keys from all the officers, then handcuff them to their own steering wheels. After that, Brian arrives and knocks out all the bodyguards. Then Brian and all his friends take Kim away from there. Following this incident, Dotzler briefs his team and tells them about all of Brian's friends. Dotzler says that Brian's friends are extremely highly trained. One of them is a trained sniper, another is a former Navy SEAL, and another is an explosives expert. About Sam, he says that he is a communications expert. Dotzler explains that all of them have handled many dangerous missions for their country, but the most surprising thing is that none of them, including Brian, have any records. No service records, no information about what they did afterward. They are just ghosts. Dotzler says these are very serious people. Then he adds there is one more thing. He explains that before she died, Lenore went to the same gas station that Brian later visited. From the security footage there, they learned that Lenore was kidnapped by a group of men who arrived in a black van. Dotzler also mentions that recently, a Russian man named Maxim, whom Brian was trying to get information from, killed himself. This means that Maxim never gave Brian the information he was looking for. Dotzler says that every time they came close to catching Brian, Brian could have easily killed any of them, but he didn't. That suggests Brian might also be trying to find Lenore's killer, just like them. The only difference is that he's one step ahead of them. Dotzler orders his team to first find out what connection those Russians have to Lenore's murder. Next, we see that Brian has brought Stuart to his hideout, where all of Brian's friends and Kim are already present. Sam is analyzing the police data Brian gave him. When Stuart asks why he's doing that, Brian explains that Sam is going through his and Lenore's phone records to see if they can find any clues. After that, Brian asks Stuart to tell him everything about Malenkov. Stuart says his name is Oleg Malenkov. He served in the Russian army. He was Spetsnaz, like the Russian version of the Navy SEALs. He later went rogue. Stuart explains that he met Malenkov while doing a deal involving heavy machinery. Since then, they did business together on several occasions. Some deals worked out, but the last one didn't. Now Malenkov wants his money. Brian tells Stuart to call Malenkov. Stuart asks, why? Brian replies, because you're going to set him up for me. Stuart calls Malenkov and says, I have your money. Malenkov responds, that was fast. How can I trust you? Stuart says he can trust him and that he's arranged the money. Malenkov tells him to bring the money to a building downtown within an hour. At the address given by Malenkov, Brian arrives in a van with his entire team, Kim and Stuart. While they're in the middle of planning their next move, Stuart receives a call from Dotzler. Dotzler asks Stuart where he is, and Stuart replies that he's in a meeting. Dotzler tells him that Brian has taken his stepdaughter Kim from his house. Dotzler asks Stuart to come in as soon as possible, but Stuart says he's in Malibu and it will take time to get there. Dotzler starts to suspect Stuart, so he asks his junior to track Stuart's phone location. Sam realizes that the police are tracking Stuart's phone, so he says that whatever they're going to do, they need to do it fast, because soon Dotzler will find out that Stuart is right there with them. Just then, Dotzler's junior tells him that Stuart lied. He isn't in Malibu, he's downtown. Dotzler immediately heads downtown with his entire team. Sam informs Brian that the police are on their way. Brian tells Stuart to do exactly as he was told. Don't improvise, otherwise Malenkov will kill you. Meanwhile, one of Dotzler's team members tells him that he's found something. He explains that there's a $12 million insurance policy in both Stuart's and his wife's names. We then see Stuart going to meet Malenkov. After the elevator, there's a security team that searches Stuart and lets him proceed. Just then, Brian comes from behind, takes out the security guards, enters the elevator, and tells Stuart to go back to the van. As soon as the elevator reaches Malenkov's floor, Brian kills all the bodyguards present there. Brian then moves toward Malenkov, taking out every man who comes in his way, one by one. Finally, Brian reaches Malenkov's apartment. Malenkov starts firing at Brian, and a heavy gunfight breaks out between them. The two then engage in a brutal hand-to-hand fight. At the right moment, Brian shoots Malenkov. Malenkov falls to the ground. Malenkov asks Brian, "Who are you, old man?" Brian replies, "You killed my ex-wife, but you're not going to kill my daughter." Shocked, Malenkov says, "Your daughter? Shit." Then he says, "We were screwed by the same man." Brian asks, "What do you mean?" Malenkov explains, "First Stuart gets me to kill your wife, then you. And when that doesn't work, he pushes you to kill me. Either way, he wins." Malenkov adds that Brian's wife was just part of a business deal. At that moment, Brian realizes that this entire setup was created by Stuart. Soon after, due to excessive blood loss, Malenkov dies. On the other side, Kim sees a recovered message on Brian's phone, in which Brian is asking Lenore to meet him. Kim immediately messages Brian and tells him that someone has used his phone because there's a message from his phone asking her mom to meet him. Stuart notices Kim doing all this. Kim calls Brian, but before Brian can answer the call, Stuart picks up a gun kept there and shoots Sam. After that, Stuart forces Kim to go with him. He pushes Kim into the car and drives away. Soon after, a police team arrives there. They find Sam injured. One officer informs Dotzler about everything and says that Brian is inside the building, so the whole team is moving in. As soon as the police team reaches Malenkov's floor by elevator, they see Malenkov's men lying dead all around. Then they see that Malenkov himself is also dead. Quietly, Brian reaches the parking area and sees police teams deployed everywhere. Brian sneaks into a car. That's when he sees Kim's message, which she had sent him a short while earlier. Then Brian remembers that before Lenore's death, Stuart had come to his house. Brian drives out through the police presence and starts following Stuart. On the other side, Stuart tells his man to have the plane ready. Meanwhile, the entire police team starts tracking Brian. Brian is speeding after Stuart. Dotzler is informed by one of his men that Brian's phone is on, and he is being connected to Brian. Brian's phone rings. Dotzler is on the call. Dotzler tells Brian about the insurance policies. Brian tells Dotzler that Stuart borrowed a large amount of money from Malenkov, then had Lenore killed, after that sent Malenkov after him, and now Stuart has kidnapped Kim and is taking her away. Dotzler tells Brian, "I need you to step back and allow me to handle this." Brian asks, "Tell me, what is your priority, Mr. Dotzler?" Dotzler says that his priority is to arrest Stuart and charge him with the murder of Brian's ex-wife. But Brian says, "My priority is my daughter," and then he hangs up the call. Meanwhile, Stuart brings Kim to the runway where a private plane is already waiting. Stuart forces Kim onto the plane and tells the pilot to take off. Just as the plane is about to lift off, Brian reaches the runway and crashes his car straight into the plane's landing gear. Due to the heavy impact, the wheel breaks, the plane loses balance, and crashes on the runway itself. After this, Stuart comes out of the plane holding Kim at gunpoint. On the other side, Brian also aims his gun at Stuart. At that very moment, Kim shoves Stuart aside, and without wasting a second, Brian shoots him. Stuart is badly injured, and an enraged Brian starts beating him mercilessly. Brian then exposes Stuart's entire conspiracy, how he used Brian and Malenkov against each other, how he came to Brian's house under the pretext of coffee and took Brian's phone, sent messages to Lenore asking her to meet, later deleted them, and then had his men place Lenore's body to frame Brian for her murder. In his rage, Brian is about to kill Stuart, but Kim stops him. Brian warns Stuart that he knows Stuart is rich, powerful, and may even escape the law. But Brian makes one thing clear. The day Stuart gets out, Brian will find him, and they both know what his fate will be. In the next scene, we see Brian sitting across from Dotzler at the police station. Dotzler says he still hasn't fully understood the entire case. Brian explains that Lenore was going to leave Stuart, and Stuart needed the insurance money to pay off his debt to Malenkov. Dotzler tells Brian that running away didn't help their case. Brian replies that Stuart had come up with a better solution: eliminate Malenkov and use Brian to keep the insurance money for himself. Stuart was confident that after Lenore's death, Brian would go looking for revenge and kill Malenkov, freeing Stuart from both of his problems. After this, Dotzler releases Brian and tells him, before he leaves, to stay in the city for the next month so that he can contact Brian if he has any questions. At the end of the story, we see Brian telling Kim and Jamie that whatever decision they make, they should think it through carefully, because the time ahead will be full of responsibilities. And whatever their decision is, he will support them 100%. Kim says that she and Jamie have decided that if they have a daughter, they would like to name her after her mom. Hearing this, Brian feels extremely proud of his daughter, Kim. So that was the end of the movie. If you liked the explanation, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.